Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we'll explore ArrayList in Java from collection framework. Okay. List is a part of the collection framework and implemented by classes like ArrayList, linked list, and the vector. So now we'll understand what is the ArrayList in Java. An ArrayList is like a resizable array. Okay, it is part of the Java util package and implement the list interface. Okay, ArrayList is a class. Okay, first we need to create an object of the ArrayList class. So you can say ArrayList. So while creating an object, we should specify the type of the data. Okay, we want to store using a generic. For example, if you want to store string values in the list, right, you can declare string data type. Okay, now if you want to store the integer value, then you have to define integer, or you can define the character or double. What type of data if you want to store, you can define the data type over here. Now you have to give any variable name equal to new array list. Okay, so here also you can say string data type if you want to store. So this is the way we need to create a object of the ArrayList class. Okay, so this means your list will only accept the string values. Okay, when you create a new ArrayList, right, it starts at empty. Okay, there are no elements in it initially. So if you want to know the size of the array, you can say list is a variable name which you have given. Whatever the variable you have given, you can give list dot size. Right, so now let's run this. See, it is returning a empty. There are no element it is, right? See, it's returning a 0. However, behind the scene, right, Java allocates a default capacity of 10, meaning that it reserves the space for up to 10 elements. Okay. So before needing to grow the list, right, let us add element to the list. Now, how to add elements to the list? For example, if you want to add a element to the list, so get the variable name here, list dot. We have a method called add method. So you can add a value. So for example, apple. Okay. Same way, list dot add. You can add another values. Maybe so list dot add. So you can add name. Right? So now, if you are trying to add the different data type, like, integer or some other data type, right? List dot add. So if suppose if I say number, okay? If I say that value of number, right? Integer values, if you're trying to add, the compiler will throw in the error. See here, if you see that, you could able to see the error. The method add integer string in the data type array list string is not applicable for the argument integer. Okay, so only you can able to add a string values because already we defined, right? So you have to add only the integer string values only. The integer values or double values if you try to add, it's going to throw you the error. Because that's because we have already defined the list to accept only the string values using a generic. So once the data type is set, the list will only accept the value of the specific type. In this case, we have a string. Okay, if you want to print all the values, okay, if you want to print all the values, you want to add another values, maybe now if you want to print all the values, right, then say print fruits list plus list. Okay, list is this variable. Here have added all the values. So let's run this. See, this is display the entire list in a single line. Okay, since ArrayList override the toString method internally, so it automatically format the output with the square bracket. Okay, and separate each element by comma. Right, if you want to know the size of the array, right, say size of the array list. So let's run this now. See, before it was a 0. Okay, after adding all the all the 4 elements, now let's run this. It's going to return total size is a 4. Okay. So now here we have a, get all the values, right? If you want to access a specific element from the list, right, you can use the get method. Okay, using get method, you can get the specific value. So these are the element, right? It's going to store in the, so this is in a zeroth index wise. Okay, this is a first index. This is a second and third index, right? So passing the index, you can get the values. So since all the elements in the list are stored based on their index, okay, starting from 0. So you can retrieve any value by passing its position. Okay, now for example, let's say if I want to print, uh, I can say first proof. Okay, let's say list dot method called get method. Here we need to pass the index 0. Zeroth index means the first element will going to return. Okay, so now let's run this. See, this is printing the index 0, which is the first item in the list. Okay. Now here we have a 4 element is there. If you want to update or replace an existing element in the array list, so you can use the set method. Okay. Here we are seeing get method. Another one is a set method. So the set method takes a 2 argument. First is the index. In which index you want to store. Index where you want to update the value and the new value you want to set. So for example, I can say, first let's see, list dot set, right? See here it is saying first one is the index, second one is the element. So set, here we need to say, suppose if I want to add one more element in the second index. Second means 0, 1, 2 here. Second index means I can say second. Here you need to pass the value which, which element you want to store. For example, I can say grapes, right? So now if you want to print, so maybe I can say after updating the third element list. Okay. So now it's going to return all the values. So let's run this. See now apple, banana, grapes and orange. So here the grapes, right? So it is a second 0, 1, 2. So in the second space, right? Here it is updating the grapes. So this is replace the element at the index 2 with the grapes. Okay, remember index starts from the 0. So index 2 means the third element in the list. So similarly, if you want to remove the element from the list, you can use the remove method. Okay, so here you can pass the index. In the remove method, you need to pass the index, which index value you want to remove. So let's say if I want to say list dot remove, right? So here also, here we have a two overloaded method is there. One is the index we can pass, one is the value also we can pass. If suppose if I go with that index, right? Suppose if I say 0, 0 means the first index. This value will going to remove. Okay. Now let's see. I can copy this here after removing. So let's run this. So apple will get removed. See, apple is getting removed. Okay. Apple is getting removed. Banana and grapes, orange is getting updated. So this is the way how to add a values. Okay. Just to pass the element you want to remove as an argument. So now if I go with that instead of index, right, you can pass the value as well. So now suppose I'm saying apple, right? So let's run this. See now also the apple is getting removed. So this is removing the apple from the list. So if you want to remove, you have a method called remove is there. Okay. So if suppose if the element, if I add some other different values, right, if the in the particular element is not there in the list, the element is exists, then it's get removed. Okay. doesn't, nothing happen. Okay, no error also it's going to throw. Suppose if I pass the index, right? For example, if I say index here are only 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So now suppose I am saying like a 5. Okay, index 5. There is no fifth index value. So if I go with the fifth index value, if I want to remove, it's going to throw you the error saying that index out of bound exception. Okay. So it is saying index out of bound exception. But if suppose if I added some other value like a rise here, right? So if I'm trying to run this, it's not going to throw you any error. Okay. If you are removing the element, if you are passing the element, right? If the element exists, then it is going to get removed. If it is doesn't, right? Nothing happened. There is no error it is going to throw. If suppose if you are adding a index, right? Then it is going to throw you the error. Okay. Now if suppose I want to check the element is, exist or not in the array list. Okay, how to check that element is present in the array list. So we have a method called contains is there. Okay, I can say list dot contains. So contains means here we need to pass. For example, I can say apple. Okay, so now if the element is present, then it is going to this contains, right? It is going to return you the boolean value, true or false. If it is available, then it is going to return you true. Okay, contains method will return you boolean values only, meaning that true or false. Only will going to return you. Okay, now let's run this. I can print the value. So let's print. I'll command these 2 lines now. So now it's returning a true. Apple is available in the list. Suppose if I add apples. So let's run this. It is returning a false. If this is the way you need to check whether the particular element is exists in the array list or not. So you can also access each values one by one using a for each loop. Okay, that is a simple one. So now here, if we are printing the values in the list, it is going to return you all the values, right? If you want to get one by one value and you want to do some other performance, right? So in this case, you can use the for each loop. I mean, you can iterate using a for each loop and you can get one by one value. Okay. So for example, I can say for each loop. Here I can say list. In this side, you can say string fruit. So inside that, you can print the value fruit. Okay, it's going to print one by one value. So let's run this. See now, getting printed. So here each item in the fruits list is assigned to the variable fruit and we print it in the inside the loop. Okay, this is especially useful when you want to process or display each item individually. Okay, if you want to add a values, right? So if you want to add a duplicate value into the list, absolutely possible. The list interface in Java allows duplicate as well, which means you can add the same value more than once. For example, here I have an apple, right? You can copy that apple multiple times also you can able to add. Okay, now let's print this. It's going to print all the values even in the duplicate value as well. See now it's getting printed apple multiple times. See here in the loop also it's iterate and it's getting all the values. Okay, this will store both the entries of apple in the list. Okay, array list allows duplicate values because it maintains the insertion order and doesn't enforce uniqueness like a set. Okay, so if you want to remove all the element from the array list, now we have seen like only one element remove, right? If you want to remove all the element, then you can use the method called clear method. Okay, so now suppose if I want to say list dot clear, right? So it's going to clear all the values. So now if I print the list now, right? Before you can say after clearing the list. plus list. Okay, now let's run this. After calling a clear, right? See, after clear, only the empty list is printed. Right? So if you are doing a lots of reading and accessing the element by index, go for the array list. But if your use case, involved a lot of insertion and deletion, especially in the middle, right? So we can go for the linked list. It's your best choice. Okay. This is all about your array list. So far we have covered what is array list, how to declare array list, how to add element, how to get the size of the list, right? So how to retrieve all the values for, or specific element, how to retrieve and how to update or insert the element, right? We have seen how to remove the element, how to clear all the values from the list as well. I hope this video helped you gain a better understanding of the list interface in Java. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.